Welcome back to r/LifeStories, where today an unfortunate employee is supposed to work 40 hours per week more than other employees because he does not have children. In addition, if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, When Being Child-Free Gets You Extra 40 Hours Per Week of Work. Background: I work for a huge corporation and I am a salaried employee, relevant later. My job is very project-based and each employee works on their own projects most of the time. Today our department manager booked a team meeting to discuss upcoming changes. Cool, no problem. At this meeting, we are presented with a memo outlining the changes in hours to be worked for November, possibly longer, as follows. Mandatory 8 to 8 work days every day, including Saturdays, Sundays possible if deemed necessary, except for team members who have kids. Their hours will remain 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. The manager finishes going over this and asks, "Any questions?" Yes, I have a question. In what world did you think this would be okay? She explains that due to the situation in the last few months, we have fallen behind in projects as team members have to take care of their kids and work at the same time, so we have to pick up the slack. Me again. Based on our status meeting yesterday, the team members without kids are all on track with their projects, with many of us consistently finishing days before our deadlines. So are you telling me that those of us who don't have kids have to work an additional 40 hours a week to complete projects for team members who won't even be helping finish the said projects? She responds with, "I'm struggling to understand why this is such a big issue for you." Excuse me? What? I ask my fellow child-free team members if they are okay with this. All of them say no. The ones with kids are completely silent, of course. I tell her that it is absolutely insane that she thinks this is even close to being okay. She just blinks at me and then I ask her if she will also be working these hours with us. Of course, it's a no. She has a kid, a damn 18-year-old one, mind you. I was ready to throw my laptop through the window at this point. She then just ends the meeting and I am fuming. I regroup with my fellow child-free team and we agreed that this is not about to happen. I email the manager right after to let her know that we will be requesting a meeting with HR and legal department to discuss our employment contracts and hours we are being forced to work simply because we don't have kids. I know damn well that this is damn insane and against all employment policies within the company. She proceeds to call me and tell me that there's no need to go to HR/legal and we can resolve this internally. No, we cannot. You dismissed me and did not even bother to listen to 12 other team members. You plan to work to death without any sort of additional compensation. She then says, "Well, you're salaried, so there's no need for additional compensation." If only I had the ability to choke her through the phone, I collect myself and tell her in the most professional way I could muster that we can discuss this with HR/legal and I end the call. I proceeded to book a meeting with my child-free team, manager and HR legal for tomorrow. In the meantime, I am downing a bottle of wine to calm myself. I might end up unemployed tomorrow, but I'm not letting this go. This is the hill I will die on. And rant. And guys, I'm actually curious, have you ever been discriminated against at work because you don't have any children? To be fair, in my own personal professional life, I have never witnessed a situation where someone with children would work substantially less than someone without children. However, if you had different experiences, please let us know in the comments. And the next one is an update to the Being Child-Free Gets You Extra 40 Hours Per Week of Work. Hi all, some users asked what I do for work. I have to give a vague answer to this for privacy reasons. I work in the regulatory compliance department and our job is to monitor and enforce internal policies and laws/regulations at all levels within the company. Almost everyone requested an update, so I really hope this lives up to the hype. The meeting took place first thing this morning with the manager, head of HR, another HR manager, 2 labor law attorneys from the legal department, head of my department, legal invited him on the fly this morning, and 13 CFs, 12 co-workers and me. I started the meeting by explaining why we have gathered here today. Head of my department was dumbfounded. He clearly had no idea what the manager tried to pull. Legal went through the rules of the discussion, wait for your turn to speak and such. I was first to make my case, and my approach was simple. Show proof, show policy, explain why the policy was violated and therefore cannot be enforced. Boring, yes I know, but if that didn't work, I had other points on reserve to bring up. Side note, I really wanted to go all out and lose my filter and say what I was really thinking, but as we know, that would get me nowhere. So I presented the manager's memo and company's overtime policy, which clearly states that mandatory overtime must be first, mandatory for all members of the department, hourly and salaried. Second, all members must work equal number of OT hours, and 3, must be approved by the head of the department. If any of these conditions are not met, management cannot impose it and should ask for volunteers to work OT instead. My argument was simple: manager did not follow the policy and purposefully targeted the CFs. Highlights of the crap show that followed. Legal asked the head of my department if he approved the memo. Answer was an angry no. I could tell he was livid at the manager. In my head, I am laughing my butt off. Legal asks manager for her side of the story. Answer: I wasn't aware of this policy. I interject with, I find that hard to believe when 3 weeks ago we did an extensive review with that policy being the main objective and you were heavily involved with each step. Head of HR chimes in with, I can attest to that. I worked with the manager on this project. Let's be truthful please. In my head I am screaming, take that girl. Manager says, well, I did not think policy would apply in this case, y'all. It took all my willpower not to cuss her out. All of a sudden her memory came back and now she is aware of the policy. Legal stepped in with, are you saying that you, the manager responsible for enforcing policies, honestly thought that those same policies don't apply to you? Ah, yes. Head of my department stepped in with, to manager still angry as F, you were blatantly wrong here. There's no need to try and justify it. This is obviously very summarized, but the gist is there. Round number 1 was a win, and next were some of the child-free employees who shared emails between them and her, showing your standard crappy manager behavior and lack of accountability. She just kept repeating, that's not why we're here today. It did not stop them from going on though. This was very enjoyable to watch. Then one of the other CFs asked to speak, and let me tell you, this guy showed up with receipts. He spent the entire night creating an analysis, effing pie charts and all, to illustrate how many projects were done by the 13 child-free employees as compared to the 19 non-child-free employees, how much time was put in by us versus them, how much vacation and sick time was approved for us versus them for the last year. I was shook. His analysis showed that 13 of us did close to 60% of all the work, while 19 of them did 40-ish. Don't even get me started on the rest of the stats. This guy wiped the floor with the manager. I hope he gets a raise because he's my hero. Her response though? This company promotes work-life balance and wants families to have time to spend with each other, so it's normal that employees with kids get time to do just that. I could not hold back. Me? Yes, you're absolutely right that the company does that. What you are lacking here is the understanding that family includes other people, not just kids. In case you were unaware, all of us have families too. HR interjected with, I believe we have enough information here. The child-free employees, myself included, were asked to leave the meeting so they can deliberate, and we were told that they will circle back with us later in the afternoon. Later comes around, we are invited to a meeting. This time it is all the same people, but no manager. The head of my department apologized that this ever happened, thanked us for doing the right thing and bringing it to their attention, threw in a few company lines about equal treatment, yada yada yada, and told us he will be taking over the managerial duties for the time being. Legal added that the memo is null and void and made it clear that we will not be working those insane hours. In case you are wondering, the manager was offline for the rest of the day. We don't know what happened there, but who cares, we won. And by the way guys, these stories are actually from r/childfree, and if you find this subreddit interesting, then please let me know in the comments. In addition, please don't forget to like the video and post some star emojis in the comments if you want to support my channel. Thank you so much in advance. Update to the update: when being child-free gets you extra 40 hours per week of work. Hey people, I've been missing in action for about a month, but I'm back with an update to the update as so many of you asked for it. Here's the link to my first update. So it's been about a month since the whole situation took place. This will be a short update as I will focus on what the majority who read the original post wanted to know. Number 1. Did the manager get fired? Answer is no, however she is no longer a manager in my group, she was transferred to a non-managerial position in a different department. Number 2. Did the pie charts / stats guy get promoted? Answer again, no, but I hear that the company has a promotions freeze in place until end of year, so there's still hope. The manager position remains open. So guys, maybe not as much justice, so to say, as we would have liked, but still a good end to the story. And the last one is titled Me and Karen, a Love Story. Just kidding, Karen is a total idiot, but buckle up because here's my novel. My husband and I are in our late 30s and child-free. I'm a regular poster here under my main account but wanted to post this under my alt for privacy. My husband and I had been saving up for almost a decade to move to a tropical paradise. About 2 years ago we bit the bullet and moved to our dream location. Housing here is super expensive, like Hawaii prices, so all we could afford was half of a duplex. It is beautiful and on the water with places for our boat. Unfortunately, Karen, Billy Bob, the boyfriend, and her 3 gremlins live in the other unit, the setup. There is some period of time we just went for a week here and there, but we live here full time now. The entire duplex was owned by an older gentleman who rented out both sides. The sides don't match at all. One side is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, the other side of the duplex is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. We bought the 5-bedroom. On our side of the property we have 90% of the backyard, a gazebo and dockage about 150 feet since it is on a corner. The other side has a small backyard patio and maybe 15 feet of dockage. The rental leases say the renters are entitled to their specific backyards, but there were no fences or anything, so all the renters shared the entire backyard. After we bought the house, Karen immediately tried to throw her weight around that they expected to continue with that privilege. I told her that if she asked politely, we would try to accommodate her. She thought this meant she could use our backyard whenever she wanted, though. Party incident. One day my husband and I are enjoying some drinks outside when a delivery truck shows up to set up a giant blow-up thing in our backyard. I asked Karen what the F she thought she was doing and she said it was her kid's birthday. Then she had the gall to say it was a family and friends only event, so we had to stay inside our house. Not wanting to be a total a-hole and ruin some little girl's birthday, I told Karen after this she had no access to our backward period. Karen shrugged and kept setting up for the party. During the party, a drunk adult wandered into our house, which shocked us all. I said Karen's house is the other side and he said, "Oh, Karen said she owned the whole property and to use whichever bathroom was available." I directed him to Karen's bathroom and soon after she came storming into our house, screaming about how dare we make her look bad to her friends and how selfish we are, we could not even spare one bathroom. She said we did not deserve all this space with just us. I told Karen to get the hell out of my house or I would be calling the cops. She finally left and the party wrapped up shortly after. Backyard remodel. After the party incident, we decided we needed to clearly define the backyard and build a fence. While we were spending the money, we decided to update the patio, put in a fire pit and an outdoor kitchen. While the contractor was on site, nosy Karen had to come investigate. Since the fence would be the last thing built, I was vague and just stuck to telling her about the patio update. You could see her face light up because of course in her mind what is ours is her. When the workers started on the fence, Karen came out screaming for the work to stop, so I went outside and told the workers to keep working and told Karen to butt out. Of course, in true Karen fashion, she called the police. What happened next was hilarity on my part after explaining to the cop that we were building a fence on our property and the landlord, of which Karen was not, knew about it. When the cop gave Karen a stern lecture, I thought her head was going to explode. She went back into her house and slammed the sliding door so hard it sounded like something cracked. We got our fence and I thought that would be the end, but of course not. The boat incident. One day Billy Bob entered the picture and he was as much a terrible neighbor as Karen. He would throw cigarette butts and empty beer cans over our fence for disrespecting his woman. I didn't know Paradise had trailer trash, but Billy Bob is the epitome of the stereotype. Billy Bob has a boat, a 30-feet fishing boat to be precise. Of course, that side of the duplex only has 15 feet of dockage. Since we have so much dockage and only one boat, we rent out the other dockage spots as month to month. People come and go, so if we don't receive rent from them by the end of the month and the boat disappears, we think nothing of it. We had a renter who tied up their boat on the property line, but Billy Bob wanted to park his boat and needed that space. Karen and Billy Bob posed as us, we were out of town, told the renters to be gone at the end of the month and then parked Billy Bob's boat on the dockage. I only found out about it weeks later because the renter left a nasty review on the rental site we use. They said we were rude and went back on the verbal agreement to let them stay for 3 more months. I was like, what the hell is all this? After a phone call, I quickly put 2 and 2 together. I called the cops who told Karen and Billy Bob they need to move their boat or it would be towed, the equivalent of it anyway. Karen and Billy Bob started screaming the boat is fully on their property, it isn't, and then changed to no one can own the water. True, but a seawall is deeded. That we are liars, and at some point Billy Bob punched a cop and went to jail. I felt bad for the cops, so took them all snacks the next day with a note apologizing for neighbor drama. I ended up winning my small claims suit against them for lost rental income, but of course have not seen a dime. I eventually convinced the dockage renters to come back and give them a few months free as compensation. Final revenge. If you have made it this far, congratulations, get ready for a juicy justice boner. So with the collapsing market, we were trying to figure out what to do with our savings when a perfect opportunity opened up. The landlord who owned both properties was in desperate need of some cash and was tired of managing the property from 2,000 miles away. Because, of course, Karen is a Karen and called him weekly for every little thing. His only stipulation was, let the poor single mom who has been his renter for 8 years finish her lease, which is up in July. Since we just have money, we were trying to reinvest, and because now we get to control our neighbors. Heck yeah, we jumped on that. Since we didn't need a realtor or mortgage and an inspection had been done just a year ago for the old landlord to refinance, everything closed in just under 2 weeks. Karen was unaware of a change of ownership. We registered the property under an LLC but didn't know who until 8 days ago. I went over to Karen's house and knocked on the door. Karen answered with a, "What the F do you want?" I smiled, handed her our landlord information and sweetly reminded her rent was due by Friday, but she could just hand me the check if that was easier. I've always heard descriptions of people's faces turning white, but this was the first time I have actually seen it. I told Karen that we are honoring her lease until the end of July, but afterwards she had better make plans to move because we instead to remodel it before these next tenants moved in. Bye, Karen. Update number 1, not much to update folks. Karen and family's lease is not up until the end of July, rent has been paid on time. As far as I know, she doesn't have a new place lined up. We have served her a 30-day notice, we will not be renewing the lease. We also offered in writing that we will prorate July and waive the termination fee if they want to leave before the end of the lease. Beyond the near weekly loud parties and having to call their police because the kids were throwing lit fireworks at our boat, not much beyond the norm. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.